To see you guys again. Thank you to both of you who are happy to be here. We're kind of a clapping, yelling kind of church, so people don't really know when, every once in a while. And I know how to get you yelling. Go Astros. That'll get you yelling. Yeah. All right. Yeah. And Arkansas lost. Thank you. LSU won. Go Tigers. Roll Tide. Yeah. But good weekend. Astros winning is the best thing. I didn't hear any trash cans, them banging. Doesn't mean they didn't. I just didn't hear it. But great weekend to be at church. And again, I know you've heard it a lot, but I just can't stress how thankful I am for you. I just like looking you right in the eye and tell you how much I love you and what a wonderful church family you are. The greatest compliment you could pay your church and your pastor is to bring somebody with you. It's the greatest. I love to hear you in the lobby. You're kind. I love your kind words. But the greatest compliment you can pay your church and your pastor is to bring somebody to church with you that you love. So if I teach it to you this way, if you'll do what I can't do, and that's bring the people who are closest to you, then I'll do what maybe you can't do, and I'll present the gospel in the clearest, most compelling way. And At the Movies is... the reason it's the biggest and best thing we do is because more people get saved during that series than any other series we do all year long. And there are people in your life, and maybe you think, let me give you another qualifier. Maybe you think, well, they're not lost. They're just not connected to a church. They're just de-churched. I think one of the callings on our church family and on my ministry is to help people who are just spiritually disconnected. We call our church a life-giving church. Somebody asked me one time, they said, what's a life-giving church? What does that mean? Well, the only way you know what a life-giving church is if you've ever been in one that isn't. You know what I mean? Like a life-sucking church. You know what I'm trying to say there? And you just, you feel worse. And I kind of grew up, in a religious environment where my shoulders were lower when I left than when I came, I felt like I wasn't going to make it. I want you to leave this house, man, with your shoulders back and your head held high and God's on your side. And when you find that, the best thing you can do is introduce as many people as possible to it. So can't wait to meet all your friends, families. Make sure you grab a handful of invitations for At the Movies on your way out today. And then when you see it on social media, you'll see videos and invites and all that stuff. Share it, and invite. All right, I have a special guest for you today. My schedule had me out of town this weekend. I was supposed to be in Mexico performing a wedding, and there was a death connected to my closest ministry friend in all the world, and so I had to cancel my wedding for funerals, such as the business that I'm in. But I like to say it this way: I canceled Puerto Vallarta for y'all because I love y'all so much. I literally drove all night to be here today, even though I wasn't speaking to you. And the guest that I have for you today is not a stranger unless you're new to our church. So let me take 60 seconds and tell you who he is. Our church is non-denominational, which means we aren't affiliated with any local, denomination. But non-denominational doesn't have to mean non-accountable. And so maybe you've seen it that way. That, they just kind of do whatever they want. They're autonomous. They do their own thing. Well, that's not true. Not here. We actually have 3 different layers of church government in our church. The first one, if you've been through Growth Track, you've heard this. If you haven't, let me just teach it to you real quick. The first one is our pastors. We're a pastor-led organization, which means our pastors, our ministry staff, run the day-to-day operations of our church. All the decisions that you see made generally are made through our ministry team. So we're pastor-led. The second layer of church government is what we call non-staff elders. They're an elder board that aren't on the staff. They're internal, and they are what we call trustees, and they help us make